In today's episode, once again, we speak to the amazing Anmol Singh. Trader, investor, and author of Prepping for Success, Anmol Singh knows all about riding the emotional roller coaster of the stock market. The difference between profit and loss often comes down to understanding how to make logical, fast decisions based off consistently changing data. Anmol and his team at Live Traders show people how to execute trades, review different scenarios, and most importantly, keep their emotions in check when the stakes are high. And today we're speaking to Amol about how your mindset and spirituality truly impact your productivity. Let's find out. Welcome, welcome. This is Gull Khan, your money mindset expert. And once again, we have the wonderful, the absolutely fabulous Anmol Singh. Welcome, Anmol.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to chatting with you.
Thank you so much for joining us again today, and more. Everyone heard, heard the episode from Friday Feature. You were absolutely brilliant, and we love talking to you. So we had to have you back today. Thank you so much for coming again. And everyone has heard your intro. They know how fabulous you are. But once again, please, in your own words, tell everybody what it is that you do.
Yeah, so I'm a stock market trader and investor, also investor in startup companies. So an entrepreneur, have other business ventures as well. But what I'm most passionate about is helping people with their psychology, with their mindset, and how that affects every single thing, every part of your life. And I wrote a book on this subject. So I'm an author, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I'm passionate about helping people.
Wonderful. So today's topic is how mindset and spirituality impact your productivity. So tell me, why do you think mindset and spirituality is so important in business?
I think because when you speak to people and you ask them, hey, what is something you need to do to move the needle in your business or your life? Everybody already knows the answer. So then why is that some people are getting results and some are not? If you know the answer, if you know the right thing to do, and they're often correct, if they do those things, they'll get the result. So then why is it some people do it and some don't? Because it all comes down to, did you execute on it? Did you actually apply it? And those things come down to our mindset. If you trace it all the way back, why did somebody not execute if they know what to do? Then you get into their mindset on there's limiting beliefs there, right? There's a doubt there. There's a fear that they're not going to succeed. And oftentimes that fear of failure, even though people don't want to admit it, unconsciously is holding them back from the life that they want to live because there's a fear of failure. I don't want to fail. So they don't actually take the action because they don't want to fail. I think, and if you trace it down, a lot of times that comes all the way down. Either some people, for some people, it comes all the way down to childhood. Something happened, they didn't want to fail, they didn't want to disappoint people. And a lot of times I work with CEOs, hedge fund managers, that when you actually start talking to them and you really drill deep, it comes all the way back down to something happened right early on, and that they don't want to disappoint people, so they never actually take the action. Because with any entrepreneurship venture, there's a risk you're taking, that you might not make it, right? And that risk, you have to be comfortable with that, because life is all about risk. You can cross the road, there's risk, right? You're driving, there's risk. So you don't want to shy away from risk. You have to embrace that risk.
100%. I love what you said that. I mean, there's an old saying, and I wish I could credit the author for it, and who said that if in life, if you don't risk anything, you risk everything. And that's how I live my life. And you're absolutely right. Everything we do, there's an element of risk on it. It just depends on what we're willing to risk and how we perceive risk also. So in business, if you're not willing to take calculated risks, I say calculated, you can't just take blind risks, but calculated risks. And I can say this, by the way, because I'm taking blind risks, because I've done all the things. I'm one of those people who learns by messing up, truly, honestly. So now I say calculated risks. If you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to take calculated risks and actually go out and seek the knowledge to calculate the risks, as it would be the case if you're trading, then you are risking everything. You're risking your future, you're risking your prosperity, you're risking your happiness. That's how I see it. So, this is very important. And a lot of people get stuck because they're not willing to take the step forward in the case they fail. And so this is where mindset work is really, really key. Now, I understand mindset. Now, I understand the answer to the next question too, but I want to hear from you. Why is spirituality important?
I think if you don't have a higher, divine purpose, right? Or if you don't have like why you're doing something, like a deep enough why, right? And that deep in a why is this very spiritual thing. When you really dig deep and you be honest with yourself, right? There's reasons why you want to achieve something. And I personally of the opinion that those reasons were given to you, right? They were planted in you. So if your mind or a heart has a desire to achieve something, that was a desire given to you. Now, if you don't honor that, if you don't follow that, and you see this through, then you're not living true to your divine purpose. So certain gifts people are born with, and there's hints that your life throws at you that this is what you're good at, this is what your gifts are. And if you don't pursue it, I think it's disrespectful to whatever spiritual power you believe in, right? Everybody has different beliefs, but I think what's important is to have a belief of certain extent, because that guides your every action, right? And it makes you do things for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons. Because what we've noticed in today's world is that people are driven by money and power and greed, but they don't have the higher purpose behind it. And that leads the whole society to a downward path, as we're seeing right now. So, but if you're guided by that purpose or the divine power or God, you are going to follow through for the right reasons, and you're going to want to do best. And the way I think about it is like, I don't think about it like all this money that I've personally earned and give myself all the credit for. I feel like this was given to me by God, and I'm just stewarding his capital, and I have to use it the right way, right? Because it's his capital that was given to me. So I think for me, that's how I look at it. And I think business is a very spiritual endeavor. You're basically, think about it. You are creating something from nothing. You had a vision in your mind, right? You had a goal or a vision, and now you are bringing it to life with your business. That's a very spiritual thing to me. You just manifested it. It was in your mind first. It was just a business idea. It was just a concept. And now it's becoming real. That's a very spiritual thing, right? The power of your word. I think that is the biggest thing. And I think everything in life, when you look at it deeply enough, it is a very spiritual thing. And I think, people should embrace that and not deviate from that, as we're seeing lately in, recent course of society, people drifting away from that, and they don't want to be known as that. And I get it, right? Religion and all these things have dogmas attached to it, but it's all about your personal relationship to God, right? Not what other people are telling you what to do, or, you have to sit and pray and you have to go to these temples all the single time. Spirituality could just be you sitting with yourself and praying to God, right? That's it.
Simple as that, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is what people need to embrace. And I think for me, that was the biggest difference maker, because I wasn't always spiritual or believing in God or any of that. But my life changed for the better when I started doing things for the right reasons and having a divine purpose guiding me.
I love that. I absolutely love that, because I truly believe, and I talk about this all the time, the desires you have are given to you by God, and through those desires, through the practical practical application of taking action and bringing those desires into fruition, bringing those desires into physical 3D world, it's the development of your character and contribution to the society. That is the end game, that the divine source energy or God or universal energy, whatever name you tag you want to give it, has. God isn't interested in you having millions or billions or trillions. He doesn't care. He or she, whatever you want to call it, right? So God doesn't care. God is not interested in whether you have £5 or £500. It's what your development of character, what you become, your potentiality, and what you contribute to the world in the pursuit of that desire. That is what's required. And therefore, you are given these desires, and everyone's desires are different. They're unique to you. They're unique to your personal being. So somebody who has the talent to be able to become a race, a Formula One racer, they would have those abilities and they will have that desire. Somebody else wants to become a ballerina, they will have the desire, they will have those talents innate with them. And sometimes we as entrepreneurs have been given those desires to become entrepreneurs, to go out and create these amazing things. We some of the times have those potential innate, this innate potentiality where we have the potential for those skills, we have to develop those skills, but still you have the desire, and through the pursuit of that desire, those skills come to light, the personality develops, and you have to become this new version of you, the better version of you, to bring those desires into reality. But in order to do that, you have to contribute to society somehow or the other. And there's only two ways of making money. One, by providing a service, or two, by making a product. Both are there to serve the humanity, one way or another. And that's why I think, I really do believe, I completely agree with you 100%, that business is very spiritual, because through business, through your entrepreneurial endeavors, you're upholding, what God has given to you, your true potential. You're living your true, fully living your potential, and thereby creating opportunity for other people around you. So when I think of myself, I think, okay, I have the ability to have this container where I can have these multiple businesses and they can go and create their own dreams and realities. And I remember this saying by Zig Ziglar, if you try and give everybody what they want, you inadvertently get everything that you want. So if you create a container, in a business, I suppose, where your team members, employees, I don't like calling employees, I call it team members. Your team members, your consultants are able to create their life of dreams. And through that, the other people who they serve in terms of your product, your service, they get what they want and they create their dreams. Inadvertently, you will get everything that you want. You are creating your dream, but you're providing a container for everybody else to do this as well. So I think absolutely a business has a very strong foundation in spirituality. And also the biggest one, the roller coaster ride that business is. If you have a strong relationship with divine source energy, it keeps you grounded. So you don't go out and go party, excel, and whatever when your things are going great. And you don't go into depths of despair when things are going on, because you're going to get both. You're going to get the peaks and troughs. There's no way around it. There's just no way around it. So I absolutely love that. So now let's go and talk about, so how did you develop your mindset? How have you developed your spirituality? Because you just mentioned you weren't that spiritual before, but as you've embraced your spirituality, things have opened up and things are working better for you. So how did you develop your develop your spirituality and work on your mindset to get to where you are now?
Yeah, I think the first step is like realization, right? So, for example, what you just brought up earlier is that like humbling yourself, because a lot of time we think that I've like the pride, we do everything myself, I earned it, I did it myself, I did everything, and that's a certain ego there, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the purpose of God or the purpose of spirituality is to humble yourself to say, okay, there's something bigger than me, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the be all end all. And then that actually keeps you through, as you mentioned, the roller coaster, right? If you're alone in the roller coaster, it's no fun, right? But when you know there's somebody looking out for you, somebody's got your back, right? And that humbling yourself is the biggest reason. And even in the Bible, it says, right, if you had faith as even small as a mustard seed, nothing would be impossible. And that is faith in tough times, like knowing that there's something guiding you and you are meant to be on this path. And if it's tough right now, you are meant to be on that path too, because that is going to forge you into a strong human being. That's going to develop you. Because I went through a lot in my business, as I mentioned, lost money my whole first year. And even then, there was ups and downs, bad mistakes that I made, business mistakes, bad business partnerships that let me down or stole from me. All those things happened, but that has developed me into who I am today. So none of those things, so don't pray for an easier life. Wish you were better, right? So don't pray for an easier life. It's an illusion. There's no such thing as an easier life. Wish that you have, and God gives you the strength and ability to persevere through that and become strong in the face of that. So don't wish for those problems never to happen. Just wish that you become strong enough to tackle those things. And that develops your character. That develops who you are going to be. And you were meant to have those struggles so that you can be forged by God into the person you're meant to be. Otherwise, if it was an easy life, I mean, take a look at lottery winners, right? There's a statistic. Lottery winners win the lottery within 1 year, they're broke, right? And
For
they
five
go back.
years,
Yeah,
5 years, eight, and then there's the stats across the globe.
yeah,
Within 5 years, 80%, or I think
right.
maybe as high as 90% of all lottery winners have either gone back to where they were or worse, become bankrupt.
Yeah, a lot
And
of
it
them are
doesn't matter how
worse.
it doesn't matter how much. It could be 5 million or 500 million. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter the amount. It doesn't matter the location. It doesn't matter the country. It's a global statistic.
absolutely. Yeah.
Shocking to think, but how does someone lose 500 million? But it happens.
Yeah, because they never earned it. They never forged into the person capable of handling that, right? Or stewarding that capital. It was never earned. So then they lose it. So example, let's say if you win a competition and you win this beautiful, let's say Lamborghini car, right? You just won it. It was given to you for free. You drive it out of the parking lot. Maybe you hit the curb, you scratch it a little bit, right? Now think about that. And now think about you worked for many, many years, right? You worked your hard earned money, you spend your hours, sweat, blood, tears, right? Really earning the money to save for maybe a Toyota Camry. But it took you 5 years to save money to buy a Toyota Camry. Now you go and let's say you scratch that. What are you going to feel worse about? Right? The car that was just free and you scratched it, well, it doesn't matter. Or even a Toyota Camry that's not a Lamborghini, right? But you earned it. Now that
Yeah.
pinches you a lot more. So I think that builds your character, and you have to be somebody strong enough to be worthy of that, right? So I think that's why the lottery winners don't make it, because they were not forged into the person who is capable of handling that. They didn't earn it. They don't have the respect for that. And I think that is one of those things that, we can use that analogy in all of our business. Don't wish for your business to be this easy business. Wish it was harder and you get through that hard part, right? That will develop you into the person you want to be.
100%. I completely agree with you. And there's a saying that I have all the time: everything happens for you, not to you. And I think I really live by that statement. And I do agree with you, that everything that happens, and the tougher the life that you lead, the stronger the character you develop. The stronger your character you develop, the more you can prosper. So pick up any big achiever anywhere across the globe, doesn't matter. It could be in politics, could be as an author, could be a painter, doesn't matter which area, even an actor and so forth. If you look upon the true achievements, and then someone who has really achieved, you'll see their life full of hardships, and quite early on. And so they've gone through one hardship after another, after another, after another, and they've developed this really solid character, which is both humble, which is also confident, self-assured, has spiritual aspects to them. And I think to be truly successful, you have to have spirituality there, and have worked on the mindset. But that has come through the process of being put through hell multiple times by divine source energy in the greater wisdom, to develop into this amazing person who did whatever, be it Abraham Lincoln, or even even to stars like one of my favorite stars that I talk about. I'm a big Bollywood fan, by the way, so I'm a big SRK fan. Not so much of his acting, but I love his business acumen. I love his character. And if you hear him speak, he is phenomenal. He's a brilliant orator. He just speaks to you, and he can speak to your heart, and he works on mindset as well. So if you see someone like that, he truly deserves success. He comes from nothing, made X, Y, Z out of it, and he's a better businessman than he is an actor. That's saying something, because he's one of the biggest actors of India, right? So it doesn't matter which industry you can go into, this works. But far too many people start thinking, why me? I've got this obstacle, I've got that obstacle. And I'm going to speak about a person I've mentioned on the third episode. I'm not going to say the name again. I know this person very well. And he had obstacles in his life too. But instead of seeing them as obstacles that he can overcome, there's been, I think, too much self-pity and too much blame to not develop the full potential. The person is incredibly intelligent and incredibly versatile, and could achieve X, Y, Z. But the blame is, my parents didn't do this, or this happened, my partner was this, etc. There's also heaps of reasons, and they're quite legitimate. So I think the point I'm making is, your life will be in a turmoil, and you'll have legitimate reasons to give up. But the people who are successful are those who hold on to their faith with divine source energy, thinking, well, if God's given me this purpose, if God gives me the desire, then there must be a reason for it, and God will find a way for me out of it, and persevere through. People who give up in the way are the ones who are, who fall to the wayside and look upon people who are successful. And therefore, spirituality and mindset both have to play a part in order for you to be successful. How do you convey this point? And this is a conversation we can have absolutely in this kind of setting, or in a especially meditation retreat, or in a casual conversation. How do you bring this conversation to a business, in a business setting, to men especially, who are very much focused on the alpha male mentality, and let's go, and the aspect of believing that there's a higher power and whatever? That conversation is a difficult one to have. How do you calm them down, ground them, and get them to have this conversation, which may be more open nowadays than say 10 years ago, but still it's a difficult conversation to have? So how do you mentor people and talk to them about this?
Yeah, so I think I kind of walk them through reframing everything. So let's say they say, oh, I'm having all these challenges, or I have all these obstacles. I'm like, wow, that's great. You have all these opportunities for growth. So you got to reframe that, rather than saying all these obstacles and challenges. You said these are great opportunities for growth. And I think that's the difference maker. When people don't have faith, right, they're going to look at this as obstacles and challenges, or why me, that victim mindset. Whereas if you have faith, you're going to be like, man, God, universe, spiritual path, they want me to be stronger. They're developing me right now. So we reframe that by saying, you are being developed right now. You are being grown. You're being forged into the person that you're meant to be. So look at these as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles, and be grateful that you've even been giving them. That means somebody's looking after you and somebody wants you to grow, right? If you didn't have any obstacles, well, guess what? Nobody cares about you, right? Nobody wants you to grow. So I think those are some of the things to look at. And then also, one of my last chapters of my book is called The Silver Lining, which means how everything happens for a reason. You just
Yeah.
can't see it yet, right? Because you can only connect the dots looking back. In the real moment, you can't connect it. You don't know why it's not making any sense. Why is this happening to me? It won't make sense, and it would not. Don't even try, right? But in due time, it will all start to make sense on why that happened. Like imagine if I had got that job that I wanted, right?
Yeah.
I probably would still be there trying to climb the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that job, and that forged me into the business owner that I am today. And I would have never done that. So I think that's number one. Or what if, like, I did get into a college, let's say in America, and I did end up going to London, then perhaps I wouldn't have started that trading or investing society that I had started, and I might have never gone into this business. So how you see how everything starts happening for a reason. So I think if
Absolutely.
you look back on your life, you're going to start to see instances where you, in the moment, thought this is the worst thing that could ever happen, and in the future, you're like, oh, if that never happened, it would have not got me to this path. So everything is interconnected, and I think that is the conversation that I kind of bring towards, even for businesses, right? If your business is struggling, your sales are down, well, you're trying to be grown into looking at what is going wrong, what can be fixed here. There's a breakdown somewhere in the sales process. There's a breakdown somewhere in our business. How do we fix that? So it's pointing to you the things you need to improve upon rather than the things that you have to embrace it as a why me or victim mindset.
Oh, I love that. And while you were describing this, I thought of another story. There's at least I'm a Bollywood fan, right? Didn't I?
Yeah.
So it's by I recently saw an interview of Amir Khan's on Kapil's Netflix program that he has now. And it was interesting to see. So one of the most celebrated actors of Indian cinema, known as Mr. Perfectionist and so forth, only went down the path of becoming a movie actor because his dream of playing this part on stage was, he basically didn't get any of the parts, and then he had one part, and for some reason, whatever reason, there was riots going on, so he wasn't able to leave and go to the rehearsal because he had such a minor part. Everybody else who turned up, anybody who didn't turn up was completely refused on stage. So he was disappointed because he had one line on this big production, this inter-college production. He missed it, so he sat there crying. Literally said, "I was sitting there crying my eyes out." And because I had been thrown off this one production, I was now free. So another friend of mine told me about an opportunity that led me down to Pune from wherever he was, where he did this short film, which led to another short film, which led him to going into getting Kama Se Kama Tak, which was his first major hit, 1989 when I was a baby. So again, I love that because I never would have thought for someone like him who comes from a filmy background, whatever, to struggle to get there. But it means it just highlights the fact that when you think things are going wrong, things are actually working in your favor because you're being God's, you've got, when you get rejected, it's not rejection, it's God's, redirection. God's pushing you in a way that's best for you or developing you to become the best version of you.
Yeah.
And I love exactly what you just said, because I think far too many times when we get stuck in trading, or when we get stuck in a business problem, whatever, because as entrepreneurs we're going to have issues to deal with, we think, oh no, I can't do this, and whatever else. I always believe if you have an issue, if you got an obstacle, see it as a stepping stone to work through. One of my biggest one is in my current one of my businesses, I'm the only woman. So instead of seeing it as an option, as an obstacle, I'm like, how can I forget being the only, I'm not forget being the brown woman. I'm the only woman general in my in my industry at the moment. I don't know. I haven't met one other female CEO. I've met loads of accountants and other things, but I haven't met another CEO in my industry at the moment. I'm like, huh, what's going on? But it's a heavily male dominated sector. Instead of seeing that, and I know a lot of people don't do me justice. They undermine me or they underestimate me because they think, oh, woman, what does she know? And I'm not an engineer either. So like, what does she know? And I purposely choose to think differently. I see it as my USP. I'm a woman. I don't have any ego issues. I can ask for help. I can say, I'm sorry, can you help me? Can you explain this to me? And I literally do that. I ask help, and help is always given to me. So you can turn any situation around by, like we said, see the silver lining around it and working towards it. And this also reminds me of a story by Bob Proctor, who said, if your house burned down tomorrow and you had a really, really precious diamond in there, what's the first thing you would do? Because diamonds don't burn.
Mm.
So you cry and deal with all the emotional turmoil, but very quickly you will go down to the house and you dig through and find that diamond.
Mm.
And that's the situation we find in every there's a positive side to every situation. You just have to find that diamond through it. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the perspective you look at things too. You can look at it as an opportunity. You can look at it as a victim mindset. And the way you look at it, your perspective would determine everything. I had one of my mentors, he was like a Mexican guy. So he always used to say, flip the tortilla, look at it from the other side, right? Look at it from the other side. And that kind of stuck with me. So anytime you're going through life, it's a catchy thing to look at it. Flip the tortilla. Look at it from a different perspective, because there's always two sides to story. That's the universal law. There's law of polarity. There's two of everything, right? There's heaven and hell. There's good and evil. There's light and darkness. There's pros and cons. So there's two of everything. So there's never just one-sided that everything is always bad or it's always good. There's both good and bad at the same time. It's how you choose to look at it and how you perceive that situation or an opportunity is going to determine that. And some people will look at it as a bad thing. Guess what? They're going to manifest that more. Some people are going to look at it as a good thing and they're going to manifest that. So whatever you choose, you're the choice here, right? God is within you. So you are the one making that choice and you are choosing every little thing. So how do you decide to choose is going to determine that. So flip the tortilla, look at it from a different side.
I love that. Flip the tortilla.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, on that note, we're going to wrap this up. What would you be your parting comments to be to someone who's got a business or who is in trading and like it's okay for you and more, I've been doing for because you managed to do it within 1 year. I know traders who've been doing trading for 2 or 3 years, and are still doing abysmal at it, or not able to make even the daily income that they need to. What advice would you give to these individuals who are think I've done everything I possibly can, my mindset is there, I've got the mindset piece, but I'm still not making money? How would you advise them to get out their rut?
First thing is brutal honesty with yourself. Like, don't lie to yourself, because we all tend to deceive our own selves by saying, "I did everything," right? No, you did not, right? There's no anytime somebody generalizes and says everything or everyone, it's never everything. You can never do everything. So don't say I tried everything. You did not try everything. Did you reach out to a mentor? Right? Did you reach out to somebody to take a look at your trades? Did you keep a track of your trades in your business? Are you keeping a log of where the customers are coming from? Right? What are they looking to buy? What's the highest selling product? Look at the best businesses in the world. They know which product sells the most and where to place that product. Let's place it close to the checkout line. While people are checking out, they'll pick up these little trinkets. They don't put big items in the checkout line. They put little trinkets because they know people will just grab a little thing. So they are measuring. They're measuring every little thing. So are you doing that in your own business? Are you doing that with your investments? Are you doing that with your mindset? Are you consciously developing yourself? Do you have a budget to work on your personal development? Right? I've been working at this my whole life, right? And I still do. I still hire coaches. I still hire mentors myself. Even though I'm a mentor to other people, I still do that in my own self because I need somebody to be brutally honest with myself. Say, hey, this is what you need to fix. So eliminate the ego, right? Look at it from a perspective of everybody's looking out for you, right? And they're giving you something to look at. And oftentimes people will say, oh, ignore the haters. Or I'm like, not necessarily. Maybe there's something to learn there. Maybe there's some truth to that, right? Maybe there's criticism that helping you grow. So looking at it from that perspective is going to change your life. So brutally honest with yourself. Did you actually try everything? Right? Is there anything else you could try? And Carol Dweck wrote about in her book, right? Growth Mindset, Stanford professor. So she wrote about in her book about not looking at the problems of this happened to me, but always looking at what can I do about it. And there's always something you can do about it.
I love that. I love that. So on that note, we're going to wrap this up. Tell us more. Where can we find you on the internet? How can we connect with you?
They can learn more about me on my website, unmol.net. And my book is on Amazon or Audible, iTunes. It's called Prepping for Success, 10 Keys for Making It in Life. And my Instagram and Twitter is where I'm the most active. My username on both of those is Delta90. It's DELTA99ETY.
Wonderful. So if you are listening to us on the podcast, the links for Anmol will be in the show notes. And if you're watching us on YouTube, down below in the description section, we'll have the links for him to go check him out and see how he can support you in your trading journey. Thank you so much for such an amazing episode again today. Anmol, it was absolutely fantastic talking to you. And I believe I've learned so much, and I'm sure the audience has too. Thank you so much for being so honest.
Always great chatting with you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to me and Anmol today. I will be back with another amazing guest on Money Talkies, finding out how you and I can build a better business. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull Khan signing off. Take care and bye for now.